Uh, David, my next question is what would be one piece of advice that you would give to an 18-year-old in a university today?
Figure out what it is that you want to do when you grow up and start striving in that direction. You may not end up there. For example, when I was about 12, I was sitting in my copper colored, since my dad was a plumber, American Motors Rambler in the front passenger seat. And my mother uh, had a master's degree in English from Wayne State University. I had no idea she was so well educated. Very few women, she was born in 1921, had a master's degree in anything. And my grammar was terrible, and I hate her to this day for not improving my grammar. But she did turn to me then and said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be an electrical engineer." So I started down that path for a number of years. I built televisions from kits, radios from kits, and things like that. Built go-karts out of my dad's lawnmowers that had fallen apart. And drove it around in the street until the police chased me away. So I cut off the front of it and turned it into a chair and drove it around in the backyard, to my annoyance and pleasure of the neighbors. And I then next direction I went, because I was a pilot by then, was to go into aerospace engineering at Michigan, only to find out that they were interested in space and I was interested in aviation. And they had a secret deal with Ohio State University that let Ohio State focus on aviation and Michigan focus on space. And I didn't like going into space because they don't have any air there to breathe. And I was probably a closet claustrophobic person, so I didn't like a space helmet. And and then I got involved in the FAST group and lobbying Congress and visiting aerospace engineering facilities like at United Technologies and at Boeing and others, and saw these highly trained engineers sitting at these battleship grade desks from World War II. Now, this is early 1970s. These desks had already lasted, 25 years, and there was four of them facing each other, and they all shared one telephone. I'm saying, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to be a valuable guy as an engineer. That does not reflect something. And I learned a lot about politics at the time, and I pretty much avoided politics up until then. And I said, wait a minute, politics is who gets what in our society. Economics is the study of how they got it. So if you boil that down, I decided to get involved in politics and public policy, because that's where things were happening. And that led me eventually to move my student organization's offices into downtown Washington, D.C., lobby Congress to get the space shuttle built, which I was successful on, and lobby Congress to help the United States move towards alternative energies and away from Arabian oil, which I failed on, which is a lot of the same problems we have today. And then it led me to to Minnesota, where I ran the Environmental Balance Association and pioneered the field of environmental mediation, helping mediate the issues between economics, the environment, and energy. And that enabled me to get hired by Hewlett Packard in their corporate PR department to help the company site new facilities around the country, which were being opposed by no growth advocates. And I introduced word processing to the PR department, because at the time the PR department was the only department in the company that knew how to type. And that essentially was an internal product management job. And I was able to transition laterally, which is one of the good things about HP, into product management at HP on databases and user interfaces. And then Apple recruited me because I was an HP trained product manager. So follow what you find is fun, and do things that make you feel satisfied, but have a moonshot to go for. So at least you got something in some direction to go for. I have four grandsons, and none of them have any ambition as to where they want to go in the future. So as a result of that, they flail around, follow Ohm's law of path of least resistance, or the way water goes, as my dad taught me. All of this goes downhill without any aspirations to go someplace. But that generation is typical. I have a nephew in the same age area, and I asked him, this would be about 15 years ago, what is it you want to do when you grow up? He says, I'm sorry, I can't think about it. It makes my head hurt. What? Pick something. It doesn't matter what you pick, but at least have a goal, and then you can deviate from there.